First and foremost, I want to thank everybody for joining us today. My name is Besa. We have a nice guest with us. His name is, how do you say your last name? Your first name is Zach.
Yeah.
Zoya?
Zoya. Just Zoya.
Zoya. Okay, see, I was
Yeah.
like, I feel like I'm going to end up saying that wrong, so let me just
Yeah. Appreciate that.
ask.
Straightforward.
So, are you in Canada right now?
Yes, ma'am. I'm in Montreal.
How is it? Like, how is it feeling in there? What's the vibe in Canada right now?
It's getting a little cold. It's getting a little dark. The sun sets earlier for us, as the year advances. So, little cold, a little, in the middle of a pandemic, but feeling good.
I
Feeling
feel like
good.
I'm sure you guys are doing better than we are.
Honestly, yeah.
Actually, I think everybody's doing better than we are.
Yeah, pretty much the whole world.
I'm like, all right, you guys, we'll get this together at some point, maybe.
Yeah, eventually.
So let's talk about music. When did you first actually fall in love with music?
I don't think I've lived a day in my life without like being in love with music. I think it's something that was always like by default for me. I think music was just like that thing that like life has a soundtrack type thing. That's kind of I think that was my mentality from the earliest age. I think I listened to music a lot as a kid, but like music didn't become like a viable option as like I didn't see myself become like an artist until like teenage years when you start rapping with your friends and stuff. But like
Mm-hmm.
music's always been a part of my life, but like music as a career was like 17, 18 type thing.
Okay.
Mm.
Now I know that you love Kendrick, and honestly, I hear like some of his flows, some of his rhymes. Not too much. I'll get into it a little bit more in like one of the songs that I'm talking about, but it's not overkill, and I appreciate that.
Cool.
Who introduced you to Kendrick?
That's a good one. I remember the first time I ever heard a Kendrick song. It was "Swimming Pool."
Mm-hmm.
Like I was a little late on that. It was just like it was the number one song at that time. I think I was actually in Peru, and it was like on the playlist. I was like walking in the Andes, and
Mm-hmm.
like it was like a group of people, and one of the crew members had a playlist. And I just went through it and I discovered that song. It's kind of an odd way to discover it. Yeah, it's kind of yeah.
It's kind of dope though, because it's not like, oh yeah, like let's be frank, the typical story is my mom had a CD or like my
Right.
older brother, and in this particular case, you were lightweight out living your best life and just happened to go through someone's playlist and literally kind of, stumbled across
Exactly.
it.
Exactly. Yeah, it's crazy
Um,
now to think about it.
were you listening to like rap music before then, or was that like kind of your peak of rap music interest?
I I for sure I listened to rap music before. I don't think I had a like that much access to rap music growing up. Like I didn't have a TV or a computer, so I didn't have MTV or whatever show that like promoted that. I just had what was playing on like the radio, right? And like CD. So I had like two or three CDs that were like my sisters or like my mom got me for Christmas. I remember
Mm-hmm.
I had the 8 Mile soundtrack. I had like a 50, bootleg copy. Like that was,
Those
and then
burned
like
CDs that came from
yeah,
LimeWire.
exactly. Then I know my sisters bought like a Kanye CD and like a Drake CD. So that was like my early like that was my introduction to rap music for sure. Kendrick came a little later for sure.
Okay, I'm here for it. Now, when one thing I really like about your music, and I also love that your project is called Spectrum, is that you really are showing all these different spectrums. And
Mm,
I don't know if it's like a growing up in Canada thing, but, and this is just my observations, I feel like a lot of Canadian artists are very versatile. Like you listen to Drake, The Weeknd, Tory Lanez, even a Shawn Mendes, like sometimes
mm.
like you guys will just throw us a curveball. Like I remember when, people hate Tory Lanez, but I get it. He did something, the music is still good.
Yeah.
So, the music is still good.
Of
Sorry.
course, I did not.
He dropped that song Love, and I was used to like all of his mixtapes, and it was
True.
completely but it was still an amazing song. And that was something that I really noticed about going through your project. It's like, okay, this is completely left field from that song, but it's still good. So how would you say that you kind of got into that way of, you know what, I'm not going to get stuck in a box? Not saying a lot of American artists are in boxes, but I feel like they get put in boxes. And then when they try to do something different, it's like, what are you doing? So how did you kind of get to this way of thinking with your music?
So I think that's a great point, what you just said. Like, Americans are usually put in boxes, and I think it comes from the fact that there's such a rich history of hip hop in the States that, like, no matter where you're at, you're standing on like some like hip hop history. So people made it before you. So there's probably like an established sound to where you come from. You see what I mean? Like, if you're from New York, you probably have to be doing those things depending on, you know, if it's 2003 New York, that person's hot, that person's hot. And I think Canada being like a much smaller market, we didn't have like that type of monopoly. So it's not like, oh, you go to New York, it has to be like Jay-Z is the main, like is the big deal, and then everybody's trying to sound like Jay-Z, but slightly different, but you still have that New York sound. And like, we don't have a like, let's sound from Montreal. There's not like a Montreal established sound. So I think it gives me the freedom to go in whichever direction I choose to. And I think, like you said, I think it's a problem for any artist to be put in a box. And I think that's why I made it kind of a statement. And I established it in my first project ever, like my first solo project. I wanted to show that I can do more than one thing. I could have gone with just a straight bars, EP, or straight R&B EP, but I think it was a better idea to showcase all of those different sides of music. That way, people that are introduced to my music at that time know what to expect. You know, like you said, Tory had a bunch of mixtapes where he was rapping, kind of singy songy on some Drake, and then he came with that love record with that was a lot more, you know, almost, would it be
it was almost like Caribbean, or it wasn't Afro beats, but it was a vibe.
Exactly. Like he could afford to do that. So I think but even him, it was a kind of like, oh, so I think I want to establish that I can do all those things. That way people are not surprised farther down the road, you know?
Where did you kind of also get like your eclecticness with your music videos? It's not necessarily something I would automatically, okay. When I listen to songs, I have like a visual for it because I'm dyslexic. So I visualize everything I see in here like automatically.
Gotcha.
So when I watch the video, I'm like, that's not what I got from the song, but it maybe isn't what I expected. So where do you get like your I don't know, I guess like your points or like whatever you're trying to get across in the video versus sometimes the songs?
Well, I think first of all, I have to a big shout out to everybody that worked with me on that, because it's not just coming from me. I think it's a group, it's a teamwork where we come to these ideas. Basically what I do is I come with a concept that's like the energy of the song that I want to portray, and then I work with amazing directors and just DOPs and just the people behind the scenes that really help to put into images what I had in mind. And of course there's a difference there, but I think it's cool because it gives you a different song. Like, some people that might listen to the music video like with the song first, or versus some people that might have just listened to the songs. It's like two different. It's crazy that you can get two different vibes from one song just because it's stimulated, or because it's, it comes with a visual. And I have to, like, all props goes to GED and Le Consulat, which is the agency that I made the 3 latest music videos with. So basically, yes, that I come with emotions, usually with like a key few points that I want to highlight in the video, and then based off of practicality and like what we can do, what we can't, we create the rest of the vision.
I appreciate it. And it's funny that you were able to like connect that, like maybe someone is getting one thing from the song and then you see the video is a different thing. Cause I watched the videos first and then I was like, And then I listened to the songs without the videos and I was like, I like this song. I like this song. I like this song. To where it's like, it's not that I don't like the video. The video is just different than something I would normally see. And so when I hear the music, I'm like, Okay, this video might not be my favorite, but this song is like on point. Literally added one of them to my R&B playlist. We'll get to that in a little bit. So, how did you learn to sing? Like, is that something that you started doing when you were younger, or did you like one day just start humming in the shower and you was like, you know what, that sounds kind of good?
I think my love for music comes from singing first over
Mm,
rap. I think rap just kind of came as a, like I said, I really fell in love for real with rap, in my teenage years where you freestyle with your homies and parties and stuff. And I think rap afforded me maybe the confidence and like the like, like don't worry about all this, like I'm a big deal type of like persona. It afforded me that because I think it's harder to go out there and release your music when you're a vulnerable emotion
yeah.
melodic R&B singer, right? So I think it was just a little push for to be like, nah, you know what, I'm all that, and
Period.
then exactly, period. The more and more I felt confident about my craft, and the more and more I felt secure in what I was doing, I went towards what was my true love, which is singing in general. I think I've always sang. I think I spent most of my childhood, like when I didn't have anything to do, I would just sit in front of the radio and just sing along,
Same. I can't sing,
Mm.
but I would try quietly. um, okay, so you've been doing music forever, so there's no point in asking how long that you've been doing music. But I am curious to know when you realized that you had a specific sound. And when I say a specific sound, like I think the question that more so is how have you evolved since you were 17 to now? Because you really started like rapping and like
Mm,
doing music when you were 17. Now you're like what, 22? And I know it doesn't
exactly.
seem like too far back, but I'm not even the same person I was in March. So,
For sure.
who are you,
For sure.
now versus when you were 17 doing music?
Like I said, I think I've grown a lot in terms of like being secure about my craft and believing in what I do, other than like, oh, people seem to think this is pretty fire, Now I think I've grown. Like I think before it was a process of like I drop a song and like people show love and oh, okay, let me try to do another one. Whilst I think it's more of a, okay, I can lock in the studio for 3 months and do whatever I want because I've grown. I mean, I've learned a lot about how the music is actually made. I had never been in the studio before at 17 years old. I was just like, self-taught type of, like you said, singing in the shower type thing. And then
Oh, so I
once I
told
got,
him.
so like once I really it's also like once I took that conscious decision to invest in my music. So like I was working 9 to 5 and I would save some of that money to invest in the studio, and then very quickly you build the structure for yourself, and then I got a lot better at like writing songs. Like I never get like I never get like writer's block or anything like that. I think I have a pretty like disciplined and pretty straightforward technique that I use, and that has come through experience. So through like in the last, like you said, 5 years or something, I've learned that, and it's really made like a world of difference.
I love it. Now let's get into your project, Spectrum.
Hmm.
My favorites, in no particular order, by the way, Stick By You, Patience, and End Away. Those are my three faves.
Uh-huh.
But let's get into a couple of the tea parts of these songs. Lay Cap. Did you get your
Uh-huh.
Tesla?
Did I get not yet. Not yet. Not yet.
I'm not gonna front. There's like a Tesla. So I live downtown Seattle, and there's like a Tesla. I don't know if it's a dealership or like a display shop or something. I don't know, but there's a
Yeah.
bunch of Teslas in there, and it says Tesla on the front. I always walk by it, and I'm like, I don't know when, I don't know how, but I'm
Yeah,
getting
I
me a
swear
damn
it's
Tesla.
coming. Yo, it's coming. Same. Honestly, I was hoping I probably would have had it if it wasn't for this crazy year. So let's just put it like that. Let's
Same.
manifest it. Yeah.
We'll try this again in 2021.
Exactly.
That's definitely one of the songs that I feel you kind of have like a Kendrick vibe to. And what I like about your way of kind of channeling Kendrick is that it doesn't take over you. Like legit, there are some people who will be like, oh my God, I'm inspired by such and such. And they're so
Mm.
inspired that they almost become that person to where it's
Yeah, I
like
see what
I
you
don't
mean.
even know who you are. Like I like it's one thing to like how Kendrick raps and how he flows and how he puts words together. It's another thing to literally take Kendrick's voice and like literally just put Kendrick in the studio. If that was the case, I would just get a verse from Kendrick, not
100%.
from a Kendrick
Exactly.
sound alike. But I like what you're able to do with your influences because I can hear it, but it's not overpowering.
Right. Appreciate that. And I think that through time, like the more and more I grow as an artist, the more and more I distance myself from these rappers and I mean from these artists in general and build my own persona, my own person. You see what I mean? Like Drake used to sound like Lil Wayne. You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people used to sound like Lil Wayne. I think Young
Period.
Thug used to sound like Lil Wayne. You see what I mean? And then they just
Lil Wayne used to
grew.
sound like Lil Wayne.
Yeah.
It's really different, right?
Yeah,
We won't go
facts,
there.
facts. Let's not go there. But you see, like I think it just takes use. Of course, I think everybody starts with being influenced by somebody they look up to because that's what you consider to be. Oh, that's what sounds good. Oh, I like that, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna try to do that because that's what I think sounds good. And then the more and more you do it, the more the actual you, you know, through
You
the
find your
cracks and
way.
then exactly, and then
Find
through
out what
time.
finds
So
good.
exactly.
Your song Pills, Pills with a Z.
Mm.
Tell me a little about this song. For me, it was kind of like a slow pop vibe, if you will.
Type thing. So that's my guy Bugo. Bugo's my beat maker. That's my day one. That's like the guy I go on tour with. That's like my brother, and we just make music all the time. And I was just like one of those vibes that's just he'll just send me like beat folders on beat folders, and sometimes I'll just hit a vibe. He'll send me like some drill stuff and some super trap stuff and some very pop stuff and some very R&B stuff, and I'll just hit it in a different way. That's why it's so cool to have somebody like that by my side. And Pills just kind of came naturally. It's one of those songs where um over the content you just vibe with it. That's the type of song
Mm-hmm.
you follow. That's the type of song you listen to on your own. You see, by yourself, you just get into it. So yeah, that's kind of how I wrote it too.
It sounds like you were just kind of like in the studio having a good time, filling it out, didn't think too much about it. And once the song was done, I don't know why I feel like you were like, "Oh, that was easy. that
No, for
was a
sure.
simple one."
It was definitely a straightforward one for sure.
Your song "End Away." I feel like this song
Mm,
is pretty straightforward. It's literally like, don't bring around no bad vibes. Like if you're not gonna
exactly.
help the process, let alone if you're slowing down the process, I'm gonna need you to go over here. So have people been trying to slow down your process? Have you had to cut people off, or do you keep like a pretty close circle in general?
Right. I think over cutting people off, I think that people that don't have the same kind of ambition as you kind of just fall off the train. You see what I mean? If I'm going 100 miles an hour, you're not keeping up. You just slowly fall off, and we diverge. We go in different directions. So I think it's more of a like, if you see yourself going in a different direction, don't hold on, don't grasp on to me. You know what I'm saying? Because I know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm doing. I have this direction. I'm trying to, I have my line, and I'm shooting straight. You know what I mean?
Period. And that's really how it sometimes has to be. It's like, I'm not trying to be tunnel vision, but I just don't need you to be that fly splatting on my window. Like, just go over there.
Exactly. Exactly.
Um, Stick by You. That's actually my favorite one out of all of them.
That's
Just because I
fire.
love me
I'm
some
happy to hear that.
R&B. Like that is like
Uh,
my favorite out of all of them. I listened to it like 4 times today. And I wrote down some
fire.
lyrics. So let's talk about this. You said you can't promise anything, but you'll try. You also said, as soon as you catch feelings, I'll pass. I'm unfaithful. What else did you say up in here? You said you smoke so much that you already forgot about it. Okay, I love weed, but y'all, how much you smoking a day? Anything else up in here I need clarification on? Give me the deets. Give me the deets.
Okay, so I mean, that's a pretty good summary you did there. Yeah, it's basically it's basically me talking to a girl, talking about how success can get in the way of a relationship, but I'm gonna try my best. You see what I mean? Like with all the ups and downs of success and just show business in general. Forget success, forget clout or whatever. Just the show business, the business we're in. Uh, it's a very unpredictable career, you know, like it's
Mhm.
a very, you don't know where you're going to be the next day. You don't know what type of you know, there's a lot of parties involved, there's a lot of going out, there's a lot of coming back late, there's a lot of all that. So it's basically me saying that it's like a love declaration, me saying that although there's all of that in the way, coming in the way, you see what I did there, pun intended, even though there's all of that, I'll try to stick by your side. You see what I mean?
I'm
I'll
gonna
try
do
to
my
stick by you.
best.
Yeah,
But
I'll
if
do
I
my
mess
best. I'll
up, I
try.
need that pass. I warned you.
Yeah.
You
She said it.
were
She said it.
warned. That is what I feel like this song is about. Like, I'm gonna do my best, but since I warned you, so we gonna
Right.
go together.
You know.
It's about though patience. I really like that song. I actually want for you to start out with letting us know why that song means so much to you.
Uh, that song is basically like a diary entry for me in the sense that it's the type of song I can you know those songs that like you hear on the radio and that bring you back to that specific moment of your life where
Mhm.
you know exactly where you were, you know what it smelled like, you know you're thinking about, you know that's that kind of song for me. So I think I wrote a song that really explained my state of mind in a very particular time, which is right before I dropped Spectrum. So I think it's a beautiful um um how do I say, like a not a checkpoint, but it's like a pin on my storyline where I can go back to this moment and be like, oh, that's how I felt, and that's how I felt about all the struggles I might have been going through. And it's not that deep, but it's just about the constant chase and the constant pursuit of happiness and how it's kind of uh um it's kind of a paradox in the sense that you need to let go of wanting happiness for happiness to come. You see what I mean? I think happiness
Mhm.
really comes to you when you kind of forget about it, when you're just in a moment where you're at a show, you're somewhere, you're with people, and you're just enjoying the moment, and then maybe later that day or later in the year, you might look back and be like, ah, oh, that was such a good memory. That was such a good moment. I think it's
Yeah.
hard to really appreciate beautiful moments in them, like as it happens. And I think it kind of diminishes how powerful or how happy you are in a moment to be like, oh, am I happy right now? Because then as soon as you think about am I happy right now, you'll start to think about everything that could make you happier, why you're not the happiest you could be. You know, I'm a little I woke up a little tired and it's been, you know. So I think
Mhm.
the premise is just, yeah, when every time I think of joy I lose a little. So it's just telling myself, just enjoy it, don't think about it too much, because that's when basically the happiness is in the journey and not in the end goal. You see what I mean?
I
Not
totally
in the
absolutely
destination.
agree. I think even my friends sometimes tell me, they're like, "Oh my god, like sometimes you're like you want to do this, you want to do that." They're like, "Girl, have you forgot what you've already done?" And
Mm,
I think that's really what it is. Like when you're in this industry, like we were talking about earlier, you move so fast and you're moving so
mm-hmm,
fast. And for me, there was like this video that Rihanna said when she was like, when she's doing something, she's already bored of it. And I was like, that's literally me, to where I'm
mm,
not really enjoying things. It's like I enjoy getting ready to do it, and then once it's done, it's like next,
exactly, yeah. It's kind
next.
of like
Okay, that
going
was
on a
great.
trip, right? It's like going on a trip, you know, right before going on a trip you're all excited, you get to the airport and everything, and once you're actually there, it's like, huh, oh, it's that, like, oh, I'm here. You see what I mean? Like,
Packing
yeah.
was fun.
Yeah.
Now I gotta unpack.
Exactly.
Like,
So
so yeah,
yeah.
I love this song. One more question about that song. There's a point where you say there's something about how like there's no recipe. When did you realize that there's no recipe to like really anything and like how to make it? Like that's actually something a lot of people ask me. They're like, "How did you do it? How did you do it?" I can tell you how
Right.
I did it,
Right.
but
But it doesn't, it's not, you know, it's not a, it won't really help you in your own journey. Like it's a totally different thing. You can't really, like, everyone's life is totally different. So I don't think, I don't know if I real like I don't know if I know that now. Like maybe there's a recipe, maybe there's a very clear recipe and I just don't know yet. But it really, see, like the moment that I realized that uh there was more than one way, I think would be a better way to put it, is
mm,
basically when I got signed to Universal was just a moment for me where it's like, huh, like no matter what happens from now on, nobody did that. Nobody did that particular route I took. Nobody took that route so far. Like nobody's from where I'm from and did what I did, you know? So it's kind of like no matter what happens, you're the only one to have done it that way. You see what I mean? So it's like there's
Mm-hmm.
no recipe. No, don't sweat it. Don't sweat it, bro. Nobody's been in that. Like you can spend so much time comparing yourself to other people that might be older, younger, from a different family, from a different neighborhood, from a different time, just from a from different artists was popping when they
Period.
decided to start music. So like, there's no recipe. There's just so many different variables that there's no way to really pin it down. So it's just like, just enjoy,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Which is facts. Like if you really think about it, somebody in, I don't know, even 10 years ago, they can't promote their music the same way that they are right now. Like it's like,
Exactly.
yeah, like big homie, how did you do it? I don't know. How do you even work TikTok? Let's work this out
Right.
together. You know what I mean? It's like it's a different
Exactly.
vibe right now.
True. So true.
Slurpee. I have one
Hey,
question about Slurpee.
go
What the
ahead.
hell you know about putting vodka and Slurpee? Let me tell you something. When I was growing up, me and my friends, we would go to like the freaking fairs and like all that stuff, and it would be
Uh-huh.
so lit. Now that I'm an adult and I go back, I'm like, why is it so boring? It's because I would have vodka in my bag. I would have my Slurpee that I didn't put anything in yet because, as soon as you put it in there, it starts melting. And
Yeah.
I was drunk. So now I go, I'm sober, and I'm like, why is it boring? Girl, you're not lit. That's why it's boring.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
when did you find out about Slurpees and vodka? What was your first
It was
one?
it was kind of a like, first of all, when you start drinking and you're not supposed to be drinking, it's like that first thing you do, right? It's like it's getting caught proof. You can be out there in
Period.
public, you got your big pink fluo blue raspberry type
Whatever.
thing. Like you're good. You're good. Camouflage 100% proof. You're good.
Smell is gone.
So
All is well.
yeah, yeah, and it's super sweet too. So like it hides everything. You know what I'm saying?
I'm here for it. All right, so we're gonna do something really, really quick. I call it 5 randoms with Besa. First one. If you weren't in COVID, where would you be?
I'll probably be in LA. I'll probably be in LA. I'm not gonna
That
lie.
does
Probably be
sound
in
nice
LA.
right now, man. It's all
Ah.
raining in Seattle.
Snowing over here, so
You know what? I'll take the rain. Next question. Uh, aside from, I'm dead. I'm
I know
good.
you are. I know you are.
Aside from Kendrick Lamar, who do you want to work with? Like, who do you have your eye on right now?
I would love to work with SZA.
Ooh, that would be
You
a
know,
schmood. She would actually be a nice remix to Stuck by You, but those are just my thoughts.
hey, let's put it out there. Let's put it out there.
I'm all about manifesting. I got a freaking vision board there and two over here.
Let's go.
Um, if you could pick anyone's brain for an hour, who would it be?
Ooh, ooh, probably Pharrell.
Mm,
Yeah, yeah,
he got a lot
Pharrell.
of secrets.
Hmm.
One thing that you're sick of eating thanks to this lockdown.
Oh, uh, that's a good one. I usually wake up with like 2 eggs and like the usual veggies and just throw in there and like a smoothie, and like smoothies are always good, but like it's just the same thing every day. It's like so I definitely that the breakfast combo. I'm just like get me out of here.
I'm not mad at you. I actually don't even like eggs anymore. I used to like them, and I
Well,
ate one. I was like, ugh, just. Ugh.
yeah, I'm getting there too.
3 misconceptions of Zach Sahoy.
About me?
Yep, that's my last question nowadays. I decided to add that in a few months
Eesh,
ago. What do you think
eesh.
3 misconceptions are about you?
Um, that's a tough one. That's
I
tougher
know.
than I expected. 3 misconceptions about me. Uh, uh, uh 3 misconceptions. I don't even know what I don't even know what people think of me. You see what I'm saying? Like the
Really? That's kind of dope.
misconceptions about me. I say I'm a big rapper. Like I'd say I'm a more of an R&B singer than a rapper. I guess that could be. Like people, especially where I'm from, people tend to associate me to like tracks like Slurpee, you know, energetic mosh pit type of lyrical type stuff. And I
Hmm.
think I'm my biggest tool. I think I'm better. My strength is really the R&B melodic side of things. So that would be a misconception. Other than that, that's tough. Three, three.
Okay, give me two. I make everybody else do three, but can you like squeeze out one more?
Um, misconception. I don't even know what people conceive of me. You see what I'm saying? Like,
I feel like people have to conceive a lot of things because you don't put a lot out there. I look.
right.
I look. I found more in your music.
No, true, huh? Um, uh, that's tough. Okay, I'm insecure. I'm not that insecure, but like I'm not super arrogant. I'm not as arrogant or as confident as my music might make it seem. You see what I'm saying?
So
I'm a
you're saying
very
sometimes what you see in the music videos is not your 24/7 persona.
oh,
It's a
okay, that's a good
spectrum of
one.
you.
A good misconception. Uh Everything that's in the Slurpee video is not it's not my day-to-day life.
It's
Let me
just a
put it that way.
spectrum.
Yeah, it's just on a spectrum. It's just a little
I'm
part
just
of the
saying.
spectrum.
I'm
Exactly.
just saying, yo, I want to thank you so much for joining me. This was super duper fun. Do we have any more videos coming out? Anything else coming up to look forward to?
A bunch of stuff in the bank. I've been working on a bunch of virtual shows. I'm actually going uh this weekend. I'm actually leaving for another big like music video type performance. So that's gonna be nice. Music coming 2021. Of course, we don't know what's gonna happen. Maybe the world's gonna keep on burning. Maybe not. So can't really make promises. But stay tuned. Zach Zoya everywhere. Yeah, stay tuned. Bunch of stuff coming.
Lovely. I want to thank you for joining Live and Lit with Besa. Everyone else, obviously, stay tuned for more. I'm guessing everyone can literally get your music everywhere: iTunes, iHeart,
Yep,
Spotify, YouTube, etc.,
exactly.
etc. And they can follow you on Instagram at Zach Zahoya.
Yes. Thank you, Besa. Thank you for having me, huh?
Heck yeah. Thank you for having me. Or at least thank you for pulling up, sort of,
Mm-hmm.
virtually. It's close enough.
Yeah, kind of.
Either hoops, I hope you have an amazing rest of your night, and I hope to
You
talk to you
too.
again soon. Bye.
Yes. Take care.